What if I told you that Ray Dalio, the billionaire mastermind behind the world's largest hedge fund, is predicting a global reset by 2026, where peace flips into explosive productivity booms, only for debt to detonate like a ticking bomb. Peace turns to productivity booms, then debt explodes. Are you ready for the wealth gap tsunami that's about to crash down, or will you be one of the elite who saw it coming? Welcome back to Wealth Architect, the podcast where we don't just talk about money, we blueprint your path to true financial freedom. I'm your host, Dr. Ben. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're building a community of architects, not sheep, following the herd. In video uno, we laid the foundation. The old financial rules are rigged to keep you grinding as an employee, not thriving as an owner. We exposed how the system's designed to work against you, and teased this looming global reset that the 1% have been preparing for years. Today, we're diving deeper, decoding the hidden triggers that could reshape everything by 2026. Think about it. You've saved your 10%, parked it in index funds, and waited patiently for that retirement carrot. But what if the game's about to change? What if the forces aligning right now, fading inflation masks, political powder kegs, and debt avalanches are the very signals the elite like Dalio have been tracking? Stick with me, because by the end, you'll have 3 actionable indicators to monitor, turning fear into foresight. Let's architect your edge starting now. Alright, architects, let's kick this off with what seems like good news on the surface. The so-called inflation fade. You've heard the headlines. 2025 saw inflation cooling in spots, right? Global forecasts from the IMF pegged it dropping to around 2.6% by 2026, with energy prices easing and labor markets softening. In the US, CPI hit 2.7% year-over-year by late 2025, and core inflation dipped to 2.6%, the lowest since 2021. Sounds like we're finally out of the woods after that post-pandemic spike, doesn't it? But here's the twist the media missed. This fade is a mirage, a temporary lull before the storm. Dig deeper into 2025's data, and you'll see inflation reaccelerating in key areas. Food prices surged globally. Egg costs dropped, but groceries overall climbed 2.7% annually. In Europe, headline inflation ticked up to 2.2% by September, driven by stubborn energy declines. And in the USA, monthly annualized rates since April, they spiked up to 4.9% in August. Why? Tariffs from the new administration started biting, pushing up goods prices like apparel and electronics. What if this fade is just the calm before the IMF warns of shorter inflation cycles? Now disinflationary forces like supply chain tweaks, battling inflationary ones like trade wars. Blueprint takeaway number 1. Don't buy the hype. Track your personal inflation, basket housing, food, energy. If it's rising faster than headlines say, you're already in the reset's crosshairs. This trigger sets the stage, lulling the masses, while the elite reposition. But hold on, because when politics enters the mix, that's when the real tension builds. Now, let's ramp this up. Political cycles aren't just election drama there. The accelerant for every economic fire. 2025 was a masterclass in this. Historic elections worldwide flipped policies overnight, from US tariffs to European fiscal expansions. Trump's return. Boom, trade barriers escalated, with threats to Canada, Mexico, and BRICS nations. Global trade growth lagged GDP for the first time in years, thanks to reshoring and security-driven restrictions. Remember those 2025 headlines? USA inflation acceleration, faster than you think, with CPI jumping 0.4% in August alone. Or rich world's rate cut momentum fading, as central banks like the Fed paused easing amid sticky prices. Political gridlock fueled government shutdowns, boosted deficits, eroding NFP data quality and rattling markets. In the UK, CPI hit 3.8% by September, one of the highest in developed economies, hammered by transport and recreation costs. Dip into the fear here. Imagine your portfolio tanking because a tweet about tariffs wipes out your gains. Personal ruin. Its real rising affordability crises in 2025 left middle-class families squeezed, with unemployment ticking to 4.4% in the US. Political polarization widened wealth gaps, just like Dalio predicted in his empire cycles. We're teetering between stage 5 debt bubbles and stage 6 revolutions and wars. But here's the rise. The elite saw this coming. Dalio's been warning since 2025. Interviews Zoo's debt hitting $38 trillion. Midterm shifts potentially flipping Congress to Democrats in 2026. Stalling pro-crypto laws. They diversified early, betting on gold up 67% in 2025 as a hedge. Blueprint takeaway number 2. Audit your exposure to political risks. If 80% of your assets are US dollar tied, you're vulnerable. Shift 10 to 15% to hard assets. Now, curiosity peaked. Good, because the debt explosion is the hidden force that could detonate it all. Feel that tension rising? Good, now we're at the core. Debt explosions. Dalio calls it a death spiral, with US debt surpassing $38 trillion by early 2026. His warning: a financial heart attack by mid-year, worse than 2008 or the 1930s. Why? Converging threats, unsustainable deficits, eroding foreign confidence in US assets, and that AI arms race. We'll hit next. 22.5 examples. Stark. The World Bank noted global inflation edging to 2.6% in 2026. But with debt burdens at record highs, interest payments crushing in the US, Dalio lamented on the Rubenstein show, "My grandchildren will pay this in devalued dollars." Gold surged to predict $5,000 per ounces by 2026, signaling stress. Political cycles amplified at tariffs, added inefficiency, slowing growth to 2.2% in the US per forecasts. The emotional dip. Picture your kids inheriting this mess: devalued savings, polarized societies where democracy frays. Dalio's 80-year cycle study screams dark times, with wealth gaps fueling unrest. But rise up. The 1% build moats: asymmetric investments, cash flow engines. They track wealth-to-money ratios. US at 8.5 to 1, near .com peaks as red alerts. Blueprint takeaway number 3. Calculate your personal debt ratio. If it's over 50% of assets, start engineering moats: rental properties, dividend stocks. This trigger isn't fate. It's a blueprint opportunity. Building to the peak now. Geopolitical tensions and the AI arms race, the forces where elite foresight shines. Dalio's clear. US-China conflict is a great power war, with tech deciding winners. 2025. Headlines: tariff wars and dollar weakness dominated, with China anti-involution keeping inflation soft, while US tariffs hit 15%. Global fragmentation, trade as GDP share, plateaued. Fear wave: if US loses the AI race, resets inevitable dollar debasement. Capital flight. Personal ruin, your job automated. Exports hammered. But the rise: elites like Dalio poured billions into gold plus 340%. Bitcoin, $680 million. Real assets. AI capex booms offset slowdowns, with JP Morgan forecasting 35% recession risk but resilient growth at 3.2%. Blueprint takeaway number 4. Invest in the race: 5 to 10% in AI stocks or commodities. Curiosity bias. What if you're the one who pivots early? Value loop climax. Here are your 3 key indicators to watch for the 2026 reset. USD to GDP ratio, currently over 130%. If it hits 140%, devaluation accelerates. Track via treasury.gov. Gold prices, predicting $5,000. Surges signal fiat distrust. Use apps like KITCO. Global inflation cycles. Shorter now. Monitor PCE at 2.9% core for reacceleration via Fed data. These aren't guesses, they're elite tools. Monitor weekly. Adjust quarterly. Architect stats. the blueprint for decoding these reset triggers. We've gone from inflation's false calm to debt's detonation, all while arming you with elite foresight. Remember, this isn't fear-mongering, it's freedom designing. If this hit home, smash that like button, subscribe for more blueprints, and drop a comment. What's your top indicator to watch? Tag a friend who's not prepared yet, share this episode, and let's build this community stronger. Join us next time for video 3. Building your reset-proof portfolio. Until then, design boldly. This is Dr. Ben, signing off from Wealth Architect.